Hiya and welcome to Prep with a Pro week 12. All of a sudden we're starting to get towards the pointy end of this. I've only got 7 weeks before I head over to England. Flights are all booked, shows all booked, hair and makeup's all booked. Just got to book the tan, and then I'm actually good to go. So all of a sudden it's starting to get very real. So how are we going? So we'll just do a quick check-in. And it's been another good week. Now you can see that on Monday I was 57.2, which I think was just about on par with my lowest point last week. Then Tuesday I dropped nearly a kilo. It's like, what the hell is going on here? Wednesday and Thursday I dropped a little bit more again on Wednesday, and then I hit a plateau on Thursday. So all of a sudden, from struggling to get through 58 kilos, I've absolutely blasted through 57 and 56 down to just a hair under 56. So I was very pleased with myself. So I had a big big refeed on Thursday, and look what happened on Friday. Yeah, but again, not fat, and I'm certainly not panicking. And then I was back down to roundabout where I expected today. Now, I've kind of been feeling a bit fat this week, so I am due for my period next week, so I'm hoping that's something to do with it. But I actually have two options right now. Because I've been losing just so quickly, I'll get to the numbers. I am actually ahead of schedule. Now, there's two things I can do from this point. I can either let this run and see where I get to and come in early, or I can try and slow it down. And I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do yet. But my concern is that I'm losing so quickly that I could actually be losing muscle. So I'm sort of leaning a bit towards the try and slow it down a bit, but I'm not quite sure yet. I'll have to see how I go, because like I say, I've just been feeling fat this week. So I'm also sort of erring on the side of let's just let this run and see where it goes, because it might just slow itself down naturally anyway. So really good. I was a little bit higher on, because I did have a bit of a blowout on my refeed, and that's resulted in a higher than average calories this week. A bit naughty, and you can see it's a bit higher than average. Otherwise, pretty good. A little bit low here and there. And I did go out for lunch today, so I have I have had a little bit extra. So, but not too much, so I'm not too concerned again. And then we go to the macros. As per usual, very high in protein, but I have had 3 higher fat days, which could account for why I'm maybe it could account for why I'm feeling a little bit fatter, or why I haven't quite hit my low point again by today. So I don't know what that is anyway. But how am I looking? Well, legs are starting to come in. I think there's a lot more definition there in my legs, which is fantastic news. I think there's a little bit more definition through my shoulders. Definitely lost a little through my middle again, coming in nicely. And I seem to have lost it off my hamstrings here. You can see that that's obviously a little bit of fat there, but this time round, there's actually, those little shorts were sort of kind of cutting into the sort of fat there, but this time round, there's absolutely no dink. So it's obviously coming off my hamstrings and legs, which is really good news. How am I looking through my back? Definitely leaner through my back. Can't really see anything on my hamstrings there. Starting to get really, there's really good definition through there, so I'm quite pleased with that. Let's see how we go. Hamstrings, here we go. Yeah, okay, so we can definitely see a big change there through my hamstrings, and I think my legs, yeah, look, my hip flexors are coming out a little bit more, and my biceps are starting to look a little bit better as well, which is always my weak point, so that's really good to see. So you can see that it is coming off. Just really got to get it through my legs, and I think I'll be just about there. So let's go to the numbers. Now then, my average for the week is 56.6. So you can see I've dropped over a kilo in the last week, which is absolutely astonishing, and that's put me ahead of schedule. But if you look at my low point for this week, 55.9, that actually puts me like 3 weeks ahead. So look, I'm really, really pleased with this. All of a sudden it is coming together, but it's kind of a bit weird. Although I'm ahead of schedule, I'm kind of in a sort of doubting myself that it will actually work. I know that sounds really ironic, like I say, because I'm feeling a little bit fat, or have been feeling a little bit fat for the last few days. Doubts are starting to creep in. I know it sounds, like I say, I know it sounds weird, but those doubts still surface. You're never quite certain that you're there until you're there, if you see what I mean. So I'm kind of a little bit. I've lost that certainty that I had like last week and the week before. So I actually think what I'm going to do is err on the side of caution, and I'm not going to try and slow this down. I'm going to keep everything the same. Because it just seems to be working, and I do like to follow the philosophy: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'm not going to change my diet. I'm not going to change my training. I'm just going to keep going, and I'm hoping that this kind of fat feeling works its way out. And I'm hoping that it is just because Ladies' Week is due this week. So we'll see what that does, and just to see how the actual overall progress is going, you can see that been making this really nice progress, and all of a sudden the last 2 weeks I've just dropped all of a sudden away from this overall trend, which is good to see. So 2 really big weeks here, and I'm actually interested to see I had 2 big weeks, 2 smaller weeks, and 2 big weeks. Now there's a very interesting theory about female fat loss, that you lose the most fat in the 2 weeks before your period. And then the 2 weeks after your period is when you're most likely to gain strength. So I'm kind of another reason that I'm going to just not change anything and stick to where I'm at is I actually want to see how this plays out, because I'm due this week. So the last 2 weeks have been the 2 weeks before my period. And if this theory holds true, I'm kind of expecting the next 2 weeks to slow down. And if it does, then I should have another good few weeks, which will bring me in nicely. So I'm really curious to see how this plays out. I'm kind of using myself as a bit of an experiment again. Will this theory about female fat loss, being better in the 2 weeks before your period, actually pan out? So I'm kind of using myself as an experiment here. So let's just see how that goes. Otherwise, not much else to report. It's just been a fairly quiet week. No dramas, no traumas. Training's been good, strength has been good. So everything's just coming along nicely. So I'm just going to keep going, watch how this little experiment plays out, see what happens next week, and let's just keep this thing going. So that's it from me for this week. I take care, and I will talk to you next week.